You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
So Preston Parsons was supposed to take on Andreas Gustafsson this weekend, and it sounds like Gustafsson broke his neck or something, which sounds awful. So hopefully he's all right. Speedy recovery to him. But they're bringing in a Contender Series guy who just won in October. His name is Jacobe Smith, former wrestler at OSU, I think it was. Very high-level athlete. Been in the MMA scene for about 4 years now. Yeah, he made his debut 2021, so very good wrestler. Very explosive, very athletic. Again, green to MMA, but sometimes, you see these guys with very good wrestling backgrounds. Very high propensity to pick things up quickly, have the athleticism and the mindset to really make up a lot of ground, I should say, in their MMA careers, similar to these DCs, Daniel Cormier's, these type of guys. So coming in, huge favorite. Dude taking this fight, he accepted it on January 4th, so going to be accepting this fight on a week's notice. Hopefully he was training. I'm assuming he is. Even if he wasn't, these guys usually got pretty good gas tanks, these wrestlers. But pretty disrespectful to Preston Parsons, honestly. Minus 455 favorite over Preston Parsons, who 11-5 in the UFC. Pretty good fighter, in my opinion. Has some losses to some good guys: Obon Elliott, Trevin Giles, Daniel Rodriguez. Like these are no slouches. These are decent guys, and just don't understand it. The odds are almost as if he's just kind of a pushover, and Preston Parsons, he's the furthest thing from a pushover. And I think he takes this one. I know that sounds crazy, but he's known about this fight since October. 3 months preparation for a guy in Andreas Gustafsson, who is a grappler himself. So it's not like Preston Parsons is training for a grappler and then all of a sudden he's getting an elite striker with good takedown defense. You know what I mean? Like, Jacobe Smith has power in the hands, obviously great wrestling, can grind guys out, but I watched a lot of his fights, every fight that I could find on UFC Fight Pass, YouTube. And yes, he's good, but he has his best results and he looks really good against kind of bottom of the barrel regional cans. And in all honesty, I'm seeing him go to decisions with guys that are able to kind of weather the storm on the ground, go into decisions with regional guys who are 13-9, now 15-11. I think Preston Parsons smokes somebody who's 13-9 on the regional scene. Another guy went to a decision, was 4-0 at the time. Now he's 5-3. I don't know. Even the guy that he beat in the Contender Series, not very big on the guy. I think he's fought a lot. I think he's got a padded record. Fought a lot of cans up in Canada. So a lot of his wins: 7-5, 12-11, 13-9, 5-9, 9-24. Like, I don't get it. It's like, no wonder he's 9-0. The guy hasn't really been tested yet. And I think that Preston Parsons is going to test him. Preston Parsons, 5'11", 71-inch reach. Jacobe Smith, 5'10", 72-inch reach. So, they both give up an inch on either side of that equation. 29 for Preston Parsons, 28 for Jacobe Smith. Again, high-level wrestler. Probably been wrestling since he was 6 years old. But Preston Parsons, he's been in the game since he was like 15, I think, is when he started training MMA. Went pro at like 18. So he's been a pro since 2014. So he's been fighting grown men since 2014, since he was 19 years old. So he's been in the game for a long time. This will be his 6th fight in the UFC. And he's always looked really good in the UFC. He debuted against Daniel Rodriguez. It was on very short notice, no more than 3 weeks off the top of my head. Huge underdog, ended up getting, finished, didn't get put out, but, got TKO'd. Then fights Evan Elder, another really good guy, good grappler. Kind of dominates him the entire time. Fights Trevin Giles. You could argue he won that fight. Trevin Giles is really good, got a really good jab. Very athletic. Like, he's no joke. He's beat a lot of good guys. Dominates Matthew Semmelsberger. And then fights Obon Elliott. Couldn't get his takedowns against Obon Elliott, but was hanging in there. Very, very gritty fight. So I think Preston Parsons has a lot of MMA experience. I think that he has the potential to catch Jacobe Smith sleeping, shooting with his head on the outside, you know, thinking that he's a better wrestler. He's just going to take this dude down and dunk him on his head for 3 rounds. I don't think he's going to be able to push the pace that he wants to push against somebody like Preston Parsons. I think Preston's got very good jiu-jitsu, very good wrestling. He's very big for the weight class, huge legs on him, muscled up, probably walks around above 200 pounds. Very good striking as well. He throws really good leg kicks, and I feel like that's going to be one of the determining factors in this fight. I think that he's going to be able to beat up Jacobe Smith's legs. He's not going to be able to get the takedowns like he wants to. He's eventually going to, kind of tire out against Preston Parsons, who, again, has known about this fight for 3 months. Going to be in much better shape, going to be prepared. The lights are going to be bright for Jacobe Smith, making your debut, first card of the year, a lot of eyes on you. Big prospect, making his UFC debut, kind of jumping in and saving the fight, so to speak. I think he's got power in the hands, but I just don't think that he's going to find the chin of Preston Parsons. And if he does, I don't think he's going to be able to put him away. I just think Preston's too tough. The dude's too gritty. He's too experienced. Like, he comes from, a very good background. Like I said, been training for a decade, fighting out of Elevate MMA. Jacobe Smith, he's probably one of those guys who's really just working on his hands. He's not really training jiu-jitsu, attacks, maybe just defense, but it's just 9-0 in the UFC, fighting a bunch of cans. Like, I just don't see him. I don't think he has fought anybody at the level of Preston Parsons. And again, you look at Preston Parsons' record, 11-5, you might think that he's just kind of a middle-of-the-road guy. And yeah, but he's just kind of getting started in the UFC. Like I said, only 28, 29 years old. His losses are to Mike Perry, Valdir Araujo, who, if you've watched The Ultimate Fighters back in the day, or, been following MMA for a while, you know who he is, out of South Florida. Daniel Rodriguez, Trevin Giles, Obon Elliott. Like, these aren't bad losses. Like, I can excuse every one of these losses. I can't excuse some of Jacobe Smith's wins. Don't know how those fights even got put together. If I didn't want to make you wait, I would add up the records of all of his fights, and it's probably just ridiculous, honestly. But I do think Preston Parsons is going to be enough. I think he's going to have enough to beat Jacobe Smith. I can see him outlasting him, winning the striking engagements on the feet, landing his leg kicks, maybe getting taken down, but being able to sweep or use his jiu-jitsu to get back to his feet. I see Jacobe Smith, kind of eventually tiring, getting a little discouraged that he's not able to run through Preston Parsons the way that he has the rest of his competition. And I see Preston Parsons getting this one done as a huge underdog, kind of derailing this hype train of Jacobe Smith, which kind of sucks because Jacobe Smith's a very good prospect. I just don't think it's a very smart idea to come in and take this fight. I just don't think it's the right opponent that he should be doing that to. I think he's a very dangerous guy to be taking lightly and to be taking on short notice. So I think that Preston Parsons gets this one done. I think he can find the sub. I think he can find the sub when Jacobe's shooting in, or when he's just trying to land his ground and pound. If and when he gets a takedown. Don't think that Preston Parsons TKOs him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did, just because we haven't seen a lot of Jacobe Smith on the feet. He's usually, landing strikes because guys are afraid of the takedowns and everything. They're dropping their hands, think he's going to shoot. He's coming over the top, or he's just kind of overwhelming guys. But I wouldn't be surprised if Preston Parsons can frustrate him by keeping it on the feet. He starts landing his strikes up top, keeping it on the feet. So I'm going to go with Preston Parsons in this one. Biggest underdog to win. I'm picking up a lot of underdogs on this card. This is probably the biggest one, though. But I'm pretty confident that Preston Parsons can get this one done and kind of ruin the debut of Jacobe Smith. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think I'm crazy about this, but I got a good feeling on this one. Thanks, guys.